Hello, and what was the Dad's Dad Job podcast? This is your host, Adam Leverborough, and this is the original footballing podcast for dads by dads. Guys, how are we getting on this week? We all good?
I am very well, sir. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to having a catch up today.
And I messed up the intro again before Cal gets at me.
I thought it was better than the first time, man. Don't worry.
Oh dear. Well, what a week for football, eh? What a week.
Where do you want to start?
Where do I want to start? This is where I want to start. So this is very on trend at the minute. So if anyone's been doing AI dolls, we've jumped on the bandwagon for this. So I'm just going to add to the stage dolls. There's me.
Was that before or after the haircut?
You look like you could be part of the cast of the new Minecraft movie. Your hammer is there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that. But obviously, I've got the basset hand involved, the speaker, the crossed hammers. Yeah. And that is me. That's me. Do you want to see Cal?
You look like if Ron Weasley grew up.
No, I look like Ron Weasley divorced. I've got a dog and I started a podcast to get some friends. Okay, let's go on to Cal.
Why has he got cowboy boots?
Cowboy Cal.
At least you got 4 items. Oh, you got 3.
No, I don't know where that dog come from.
Yeah, I don't have a dog.
That's what I mean. That's Rusty. That's the
Rusty the dog.
Well, obviously, you're into your watches, and you was talking about your whiskey. Okay?
Yeah, like a Rusty cowboy.
Your goalkeeper, that is funny enough, has only got 4 fingers.
Oh yeah.
But your thumb's there.
Yeah.
Your thumb's in the picture, but not on the gloves.
Yeah, that's shows how good Cal was. He only needed 9 fingers.
Yeah.
And sorry, Rob, but this is the best one.
That is fantastic. Rob's actually got that outfit.
To be fair, that is the colour of our. Well, it used to be the colour of our uniform.
Oh God!
By the way, I've got incredible legs, haven't I?
I'd say they're very chunky. Very chunky.
Rob
legs.
wished he had legs like that.
I used to have legs like that.
Rob wished he had the same airline.
To be fair, the airline's pretty close, isn't it?
But why do all the dolls look like they're pygmies?
I'm more upset that I didn't get a 4th item. Where's my 4th accessory?
Well, I didn't get 4.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I got 3.
Yeah, but yours comes with a sweater.
but to be fair, you ain't got no pants on, so.
I suppose mine comes with 2 books. I got 2 books.
Yeah, one's 1984. And one is cheerleading for dummies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and did you like the pom pom?
Yeah, just one pom pom. Just one. Is that all I need?
Cal's only got 4 fingers on one glove. Be grateful.
He's got 2 gloves.
Oh God! I must admit, this has been.
And also, that wine glass looks suspiciously half empty. I'm a bit upset about that.
It looks more like a rosé. You're not a rosé drinker, are you?
I'm definitely a Malbec.
I think you should remake it and put a chess piece in there.
No, it's just a laptop with a stream on it.
Yeah,
a laptop with a stream. I love it, mate. God. I love watching chess. It's great. It's good fun. It's entertaining.
I must admit, these AI ones are brilliant. I mean, the ones that are going on online at the minute are just gold. They're just gold. But I thought I'd jump on the bandwagon because I wanted to see what we'd look like as figurines. Not so much action men, but
my wife said made a good point. Why has none of them got children involved? Not one of them's got anything to do with children.
Because our children are playing with them.
What?
Our children are playing with those toys.
You set yourself up for that one, Adam. Jesus Christ. Oh, dear.
Mate, I know Connie would do your one. She'd drown you in the bath, mate.
Yeah, that's it. I'll be there with a mermaid. No, baby. You know, that episode, the mermaid halves are switched. Top half.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I kind of feel like I've got the short end of the straw there. You guys got quite nice ones, and my one was just a bit of a mockery of myself.
At least everyone knows what you do, mate.
I'm not ashamed of what I do. I'm just a bit.
No, that's what I mean. Nobody knows. Nobody really knows what we do. Everyone knows what you do.
That's right.
But yeah, in terms of football, I mean, it's been a great week, hasn't it? Especially if you're an Arsenal fan.
Yeah. Do you know what? It was. I'll let Callum talk about the game, but I'll let you start, Callum. But what I will say is, Callum and I spoke about it, and we can't. And I think I spoke about it on here as well. We all agreed that although we didn't expect a result like that, we both would have chosen Real Madrid over Atletico, because at least we kind of felt like Real Madrid would come on to us, which is basically what happened. And we punished them well. The Merino goal particularly was an example of them pushing and us taking advantage of that. But it was harder to see something like that happening after the result against Everton, where you could argue that Arsenal probably should have been winning that game because the penalty was debatable. I don't want to go on about that again. But that was
spoke about it yet.
No. What I mean is, I don't want to go back through like referee decisions and PGMOL stuff again. That is a questionable penalty.
It's a ridiculous penalty.
But Arsenal going into the Real Madrid game, I think that's where we should be focusing our energy. Let's just be positive, man, because I just can't be bothered to talk about like all that crap again.
Yeah. I mean, the game. Yeah, I mean, the game was. So, yeah, I mean, we knew Real Madrid weren't going to be a club or a team that comes to the Emirates and sits there and soaks it up and then tries to do us on the break, which arguably Atletico could have possibly do. And, you know, I know we're talking ahead, but what if Aston Villa was to get through, which is highly unlikely at the moment, that if we got Aston Villa in the next round, obviously if we could beat Real Madrid away, they would do. And I think that's where we would struggle, especially obviously not having a proper striker, even though, again, and I keep saying it, Merino, I mean, it's fantastic, Rice, and we'll get on to Rice. But again, if we had signed a striker that has done what Merino's done in January, everyone would be raving about it. I'm really sorry. I think the guy is absolutely being outstanding. You know, I mean, we talk about Watkins. He can't even get into the Aston Villa team. He's been dropped for Rashford. He can't even make the Aston Villa team. I mean, it looks like they might bring him back for the next leg against PSG. But he ain't played. I don't think he started in the last 4. I think he got on for the last 15 minutes against PSG and did nothing. And I'd say if we had signed him and he had got in January, and he had got the same record as what Merino's got, everyone would be raving. Oh, what a fantastic signing, you know. So I just can't speak more highly of. And what a finish! Oh my God, yeah. As Rob just said, I mean, it's not like, you know, a scramble or a tap in, or I mean, that is a proper finish. That's a top draw finish.
You know what, Cal?
Which arguably. Go on.
So go on, say your point first. Go on, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to. And to be fair, I mean, the other thing that we could say, he could have got a few more. I know there was a bit of back and forth, and there was a volley that I think he had a double shot. He saved it, and he did a volley that potentially he could have scored. So he did have other chances as well. And I just can't speak more highly of him.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if Mbappe had scored that goal against Arsenal, you'd all be saying that's why he's world class. And I'm not trying to like dress Merino in borrowed clothes, but like for someone who is just doing a job, he's doing an incredible job of it. You know, like how many times would someone try that and it would just hit a defender, or it'd go out wide, or it would kind of it would roll into a goalkeeper's hands.
Or shank it and it go 20 foot up in the air.
Yeah. That was so good. You know, we're talking like if Mbappe had done it, if Kane had done it, we'd be going Lewandowski. We'd be going world class finishes by world class players. So you have to tip your hat to him and
Arteta.
Yeah, and Arteta.
To both, you have to do both.
Because I remember when I mentioned it on the podcast about him playing Mourinho up front, and I said from a pressing perspective, he will play like Havertz, but he's also finding pockets that even, and I love Havertz, but he's kind of dropping back from the game. So when he's in the box, he's dropping back out, and he's finding positions that Havertz didn't find. He's already good in the air, so you know he's been incredible, and you know as we can talk about signing strikers and stuff, but like you said, we'd be buzzing if we'd signed a striker and they'd scored the goals that he scored. We'd be buzzing. Yeah. So you're right, I think.
I mean, the game was amazing, and you know, for Arsenal obviously, and you know, Arsenal were good, but saying that, I also don't think Real Madrid they didn't really turn up either, if that makes sense. And I think there was lots of points in the game where it could have turned. But Mbappe had a few chances that he scuffed, or he rushed, and you know, where if he could have scored, that it could have been a completely different result. But I think he had 2 chances back to back, and he put one wide, and I think Raya sort of, if I remember rightly, saved one off his chest or his leg, and I think they hit the crossbar as well. And
didn't Kirill have a mistake early on in the game as well, Cal?
Yeah, Kirill basically put him in, didn't they? Put him in.
Yeah.
And like I say, I mean, even though Arsenal were good, there were points where you think, oh Jesus, if they were clinical, we would be in big trouble here. So yeah, I mean, even though we did play well, we did put the press, and I mean, there was points in the games you think, bloody hell, like we've really got them, chasing us about. It was almost like what we expected Real Madrid to do to us, we would almost doing to them. There was points where I think, oh Jesus, if we go to the Bernabeu and they get an early goal, it's nice being 3-0 up, but I still have the worry that they could go and get a job done. They could as well. Go on.
I think you might just be underestimating Arsenal's defensive capabilities just a little bit. Like, don't get me wrong, Real Madrid can beat anyone 5-0. They are also without Camavinga now as well, so they're going to be without another central defender. But I also think we're not Arsenal with 10 men against Man City. Nearly pulled off a remarkable result at the Etihad this season. Also, I don't know how accurate this is, but apparently Arsenal haven't conceded more than like 2 goals in a game for like donkeys. Like, tell me the last time you can remember Arsenal conceding 3. I can't.
I don't think you've ever lost to Real Madrid in the Champions League either, have you?
We haven't conceded a goal against Real Madrid in the Champions League ever. So we've only played them 3 times, but we have never conceded a goal against Real Madrid in the Champions League. I also think Arteta's defensive capabilities are very good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that we're going to go and turn up and win another 3-0. I would expect to concede at the Bernabeu, especially with the 3 they've got going forward. Rodrigo was quiet. Who's the other boy on the other side? Sorry, I've lost it.
Vinicius.
Yes, Vinicius, yeah. Those 2, for the first time ever playing the Champions League together, both did not complete a dribble or something like that. That's ridiculous statistics. So you had Miles Lewis Skelly pocket in one and Timber pocket in the other, with Kirill and Saliba keeping Mbappe quite down the middle. And by the way, again this season, we'll talk about Rice. What the hell is Partey doing? Because, oh my words, again, incredible movement. I mean, he set up the movement for the Marino goal. I think Raya passed it to him, and that was a close pass. It nearly got intercepted, but it just shows how confident Raya is with his passing. And then Partey basically...
Yeah, Raya was good.
Partey basically did the half turn and put the ball through. There was 5 passes between Raya and was it Skelly who made the final pass? There was 5 passes between him and Skelly passing the ball to Merino to finish. It was just incredible, and I think it just says a lot for Arsenal's defensive capabilities. But even with the team they've got, and it's nice now that we've got Martinelli and Saka back because they widen the pitch. The pitch is less narrow now because of them, and you can really see. Do you know what? Yeah, it's quite funny when you start seeing, because me and Adam are on X, and it's really funny now when you can start seeing big fan accounts for other teams starting to mention Arsenal and saying things that are completely different. Like there was one fan account, it was a Man United fan account, and he was like, guys, they're doing this with Merino. What happens if they sign Gyökeres? What happens if they sign Sesko? What happens if they sign whoever else, right? They're scoring and winning games with Merino. And before that, for the people who don't like him, Havertz. What happens when we sign someone who's actually an out-and-out 9 who can do some of the pressing as well? Like the potential here is really incredible. I still think there's an element that that Ever is right. We are still, at the moment, depending on where this Champions League campaign goes, we are still next season FC in the Premier League. And I think that's going to be important for us because this could potentially be the 3rd year in a row where we come second. And I think if Arsenal sign a striker now, they've got the new sporting director in. They're going for it this year. But they're going to be signing someone who can compete with Martinelli or can better him. By the way, I heard links today that we might be looking at Anthony Gordon. I'm in on that. I am in on that.
Can't see that.
I can't see it, but I would dab it. If it meant losing, because Trossard's got to be at that point now where he's going to want to be playing every week. That's not going to be at Arsenal. So there's going to be space there on the left, and I'm having Gordon. I'd be having that. Premier League proven, got a bit about him. Did tell Arsenal to stay humble, or did the whole humble thing. Did the Henry at the Emirates.
Oh, Brian did.
Huh?
Brian
but what I mean is he's got good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got a good. It's a confidence thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's very.
And I think that can be sometimes where Martinelli can fall back, whereas Anthony Gordon, you can see he's all in on himself, and
Yeah, I can see. Go on, mate. Go on.
He's gone. Rice.
No, I'm here.
Rice.
Oh, you want me to talk about Rice? So, I mean, I love saying it, but we owe you another 100 million. I think.
I think you do. I think it came out earlier this week that David Moyes was in a press conference, and he basically said people laughed at him for saying he rated Declan Rice at £150 million.
Yeah,
and he said, "Well, Arsenal owe me £50 million," but I don't think it works like that, David. I don't think it works like that.
He did say that, yeah. I saw that.
But yeah, I think, yeah. Go on. I'll let you carry on with it. It's your moment.
Everyone wants to talk about the goals, and don't get me wrong, it's absolutely and I will talk about the goals, but just having him in the team, I think what he brings and how he breaks up the play and then basically gives the ball to Partey or Odegaard to go and do what they got to do, and obviously and more recently him sort of finishing the ball and getting it in and around the box to get a shot off. He's just so good, isn't he? I mean, I watched a lot of other podcasts and Instagram stuff, and they were talking about basically they're ripping Arsenal to pieces, going, Arsenal ain't going to do nothing, and Real Madrid this, and Bellingham and this and Bellingham that. And don't get me wrong, we all know I'm not stupid. They've had an off game or whatever, or we played well, and it could be completely different. But again, in the big games, and I think this is the big thing, is he is vital to us every game, obviously, but historically for Arsenal, big players have been questioned in big games and Rice has stepped up. And you talk about a leader, and you talk about, someone doing the job, and pulling the team across. And don't get me wrong, I love Odegaard as a captain, but he's got to be knocking on that door to go, I am top dog here, And I think, and to be fair, I think the rest of the team know that as well, how much he brings to the team with his banter and. I mean, he is a leader and he's a winner. Obviously with West Ham, he's won the first trophy in 40 or 50 years, whatever it was. He is a winner, and I just think for him to step up, and especially when the set piece has gone, put a cross in, and him saying to Saka, if you fancy it, have it, mate, and he's gone, yeah, I fancy this. And what else I like is apparently there's an Arsenal fan at the stadium who tweeted at 7:49, mate, saying Declan Rice is absolutely levering the ball in. Have you seen it? I think it's on like Lads Bible, Sports Bible, whatever it's called. And it's this tweet from an Arsenal fan goes, I've just watched Declan Rice. He's put 6 balls top corner or something, 3 kicks before the game. It was like 7:42 or something, just before the game started. For him to go, yeah, I fancy it. And he's absolutely bent that first one in. And then had the audacity to then go, oh yeah, I feel good, I'm going to have another one. It's just, that's just, top draw in it.
That's the first time Arsenal scored a direct free kick since Odegaard did it against Burnley in 2021.
I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
And then they come like buses.
Oh, mate.
And in the biggest game.
Yeah, there's an interesting story about Declan Rice when he was training at the London Stadium with Mark Noble. It was an open training session or something like that, and Joe Hart was in goal. This was on Ben Foster's podcast, the Fozcast, whatever it's called. And Mark Noble was sitting there with a young Declan Rice, and Declan Rice is pinging him, as you were saying, with this fan. He was like pinging him. And he's hit one, and he's hit it top corner. And Joe Hart is there, and he's fuming. And then Declan's come out and gone, maybe next time, Artie. And then Noble's cracked out laughing. And then Joe Hart went, you fucking say it again, I'm coming after you and I'm beating you up. And Declan's like, all right, like 21-year-old, just got back and his shoulder out. So they're practicing again. Anyway, Declan pulls out exactly the same shot, top corner, bang, welded it. And then Mark Noble's there, he's going, say it. And then Declan Wright's gone, maybe next time, Artie. That's it. Joe Hart took his gloves off. He's running around fucking London Stadium. He's caught him and he's fucking smashed him. It's just like Mark Noble's there creasing up. But like, it just shows that he's always had that in his locker and he doesn't lack confidence in stepping up in those positions. But obviously, he practice makes perfect. And he's had first, I think there was a video that was posted today, and it showed his previous 13 free kicks across all levels where they weren't successful. I think he only had 2 on target, and that was during West Ham. But those 2 against Real Madrid are up there with probably some of the best free kicks that have ever been scored in the competition. Like,
honestly, yeah, and
it's ridiculous. Hence the title of this, been there, done that, because it was top bins, and it was. You could not have put a postage stamp on that second.
You seen the screenshot?
Better.
You seen the screenshot?
I almost had it as the thumbnail, but I thought I'd try and be creative and do our own thing.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it was. That's up there with the Spartans live 100%.
Yeah, I mean, they're both very good for different reasons. The first one is great because of the way he bends it, but the second one just seems to get faster as it elevates. It's just incredible. But one of the things you said, Adam, is that he always had it in his locker, or he's always had it in his locker. And I'm not just talking about free kicks, I'm talking about in general.
Yeah.
And when he played for West Ham, he was a lot deeper, right?
Yeah.
And actually, if anything, Soucek was pushing forward, right? And Rice would then carry the ball. But the last 2 seasons at Arsenal, as opposed to his previous seasons at West Ham, he's basically doubled his goals and his assist tallies for those seasons. So let's say he was averaging 6 assists and 3 goals. As at Arsenal, it's 12 assists and 6 goals. And I'm making those numbers up, by the way, so don't fact check me. But the point I'm trying to make is he's basically doubled his output. And I do want to credit Arteta with that as well, because there was a lot of questions about him playing in that left 8 role, and people saying, "Oh, I don't know if that's..."
I questioned it. I questioned it big time because I knew that.
I didn't want to name names, Adam.
No, I'll wear it, mate. I'll wear it because I was always of the opinion that his best position is that number 6 role, and I will stand by that to some extent. But Dec didn't just leave West Ham because he wanted to play for Arsenal, but he wanted to move to a club that matched what he wanted as a player. And as West Ham, we suffered domestically when we won that European trophy. We suffered domestically by finishing 14th because he wanted to play more advanced up the pitch, and Souček come in and done basically they swapped roles, and we suffered because of that. So that's where I can say he didn't suit that role for West Ham, whereas he suited the number 6 role for West Ham well, but he suits the number 8 role. I can say that to Arsenal now because you play to match his level, and admittedly, Declan Rice was levels above what we ever had at West Ham, which is why we succeeded in that first place. So it's about he needed to find a home for him to get the best out of his ability. Now, whether that transitions right into the England setup as well, because again, he's playing a number 6 for England, isn't he? So Tuchel needs to kind of identify that and accommodate the England squad to have Declan and Jude Bellingham in those sort of roles.
Can we talk about that real quick? Because what would be quite interesting is, do you think you could see a world where can I just name a midfield and I'll just see what you think about it? Is that all right, lads? Yep. Do you think you could see a world where you've got, for example, Anthony Gordon on the left, Saka on the right, Bellingham and Rice, and then behind them, so Kane in front for now. Let's just say Kane keeps his position. Saka, Gordon, Bellingham, Rice, and then behind him, is it Wharton? Is that his name? Palace Wharton?
Adam Wharton.
Is that the kind of position we'd be seeing Wharton play?
Yeah, I think he's probably more a natural number 6, and I'll be quite happy to play as that natural number 6. But
it's a very attacking team, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure on it.
Not as good, are we?
I don't know.
Thing is, you've also got if Skelly does keep his place at left back, you've also got someone else coming into the midfield to support as well, because he'll invert. And then if Ben White plays as well,
it's a tough one, mate. I'm not going to lie. For me, Dec plays as the number 6 for England because I think you could put a Gibbs White in that centre midfield role alongside Jude Bellingham with Declan Rice behind them. I think that could work pretty well. Do you think is Adam Wharton is Adam Wharton as a number 6 better than Declan Rice as a number 6? I think that's the debate moving forward. But then it's who drops out and who misses out.
Gibbs White as well, though, couldn't you? I think
you got Conor Gallagher as well. I think he's probably got a shout as well.
Oh yeah, great shout. He's had a wonderful season, hasn't he? It was just an interest. I just wanted to see what you thought, because going forward, even with like Watkins now, and then potentially whoever else might be coming forward through as the next centre forward. Going forward, you've got to think England are better than England are defensively. You can't really name a top. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit harsh. You've got Gay here. You've got Skelly. You've got whoever you want to put a right back.
I think you got Gerald Quansah, Curtis Jones,
Braithwaite as well.
You got Curtis Jones as well. I think he could
play right back, couldn't he?
No, I mean in midfield, like in terms of the midfield problem.
He plays right back at Liverpool, though, doesn't he, Curtis Jones?
It's Conor Bradley, the Northern Irish kid.
Sorry, that's right. And then you've also got Ben White coming back into the team eventually as well. So I think there's like maybe you're right. Maybe I'm being a little bit hard on the defence, but I just think going forward is where England's star power is, isn't it?
But then you've also got players like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who hasn't been called up and he's been playing phenomenal as right back. But I don't know, mate. Isn't it a nice luxury to have? Is it a
you're
nice
right.
problem for
It is.
Tuchel?
No, yeah, you're right.
I don't want to be horrible, but I don't really care about England, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, I want to talk about next week. And even though, like I say, we're 3-0 up, I'm still worried about next week. And I know Rob's saying that, maybe I'm being a bit harsh. And that, we've kept clean sheets, or we've done, whatever. Going to the Burnabout with that forward line, I am still massively worried. And I still think we need to score. We need to score away to win. That's how I feel about
The thing
next
is, though,
week.
I think it kind of plays into Arsenal's hands a little bit, because Real Madrid have got to come, and that means that you've got Saka and Martinelli,
Yeah.
who are absolutely rapid, and they will get behind that defense, and they will create chances because Real Madrid have to play, and so Arsenal will get a couple of breaks, and I could see Arsenal winning 1-0 because they can. I don't know what they call it on X. They call it, what do they call it, like haram football or something like that. But like where they just, I don't know. It's like basically just absorbing, and then just parking the bus and winning on the break. And it's just that's what I could see Arsenal doing that, because one thing about Arteta is he is great going forward. But defensively, those teams, man. Like I said, we haven't conceded more than 2 goals in a game for a couple of years.
Yeah. The other, I don't want to put the mockers on it, mate. Like I as much as I'd like to see an England club go through, but it's still Real Madrid, isn't it? And they could pull something out of the bag, which could shock Arsenal, couldn't it? I mean, like you don't say you've never conceded more than 2 goals a game. Could. Again, it's almost like tempting fate, really, just to kind of make myself feel better. But it's not that at all. But it's the fact that Arsenal could lose that game 4-0 next week, and I think if Arteta goes in with and kind of tries to attack and keep up that attacking standard that you had so well in the first leg, it could make you more exposed at the back.
Vulnerable. But I think we have to do that as well. I still think we have to. I think we have to be attacking, because I do think we have to score at the Bernabeu to win it, to go through.
Yeah,
I think regardless, let's be honest, it's very rare for Real Madrid to play a game and not score.
Your most important thing is to keep that 3-goal deficit down as low as possible, so that you're still in the positive, isn't it? That's the main thing. Like even if you lost the game 3-2, or something like that, or 2-1, or like something like that. As long as you're even 3-1, even if you lost it 3-1, you got to protect that 3-goal lead as much as you can. Because we've seen semi-finals that involved Real Madrid and Barcelona with Bayern Munich and Dortmund, when they were both losing 4-0, 5-0, and they ended up winning the second leg. Even Barcelona, to an extent, when they beat PSG. They were 4-0 down in one game, and then they ended up winning 5-1 or something, didn't they? Then they went through on away goals. Like it's just mental that when teams like that are playing at home, especially in Spain, it could happen. So, yeah.
Well,
sorry to put it down on it.
You'll predict the scores then.
Me, I'm predicting my team.
Yeah,
4-1 Real Madrid.
4-1 Real Madrid. Okay. Cal?
So that means who goes on? Who wins it?
No, we'll predict the
penalties.
score. You reckon it's
penalties Arsenal? Yeah.
Well, if he goes 4-1, it's penalties, isn't it? It's 4-all.
Yeah, penalties Arsenal, and I think Raya could be the hero on that occasion.
Okay.
I really hope that doesn't happen.
No heart attacks.
I've had a few drinks at the pub and I don't care. Like that's. I'm going to say 1-0 Arsenal. 1-0 to the Arsenal. George Graham.
I'm going to say 1-1. I think they score. I can't see him not scoring. I think Mbappe is going to score. And I think I think Saka, I think Martinelli, actually, not Saka. I think Martinelli scores on the break.
No, do you know what would be wonderful poetry?
Marino.
Tierney scores. Give me a Tierney goal, just please. Before he goes back to where he is, Celtic. Just give me a Tierney.
And he used to play for Sociedad, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He did. With Marino, didn't he?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
With Marino, and possibly was Zubimendi there as well?
Yeah, most likely. It was only last season, wasn't it?
Well, there you go. So he probably played with Zubi, who's coming in to replace Partey. But yeah. All right. So 1-0, 1-1, and 3-1 Arsenal, 4-1 Arsenal penalties. Thanks a lot, Adam. You're going to ruin my Wednesday next week if that's accurate.
Well, if we win, it don't matter.
Imagine if you were losing. Imagine if you were losing 4-0, and then Marino comes up and scores a 91st minute goal to take it to extra time, to take it to penalties, and you shit out your way through it.
I don't know, mate. I've got a heart condition called bradycardia, right? Which means it rarely goes above 50, right? My heartbeat cannot take that.
I mean, it would go down in Arsenal legacy history.
Folklore, wouldn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
The second time we turned up at the Bernabeu. Incredible.
Miko Marino scores to take it to 4-1, and then he does that Thierry Henry drive down to the corner flag to take
Oh
it
God, yeah.
Mate, he's decent. I don't know if he's got that speed. You might have to rely on Martinelli to do that for us.
I don't know if he's got that arrogance either. Have you seen it?
Man.
No, I just love his celebration. I just love Marino's goal celebration around the.
Fantastic.
Apparently, it was his dad's celebration or something like that. So maybe we can get him on the podcast. He can tell us about it.
Maybe. Right, okay. So how did you get on? So we'll talk about the Everton game. We go further back into the Premier League. Yeah, I mean 1-1 against a stubborn Everton side. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Braithwaite cleared one off the line, and I think
It wasn't a penalty.
Pickford saved a second potential from Trossard, and yeah, I don't think it was a penalty. I like I said, I don't want to go on about it because I just feel like it's. You saw. Do you know what was so lovely? I saw Camavinga get sent off for kicking the ball away against Arsenal, and then that is such a lovely contrast to what we see in the Premier League, where Arsenal feel like the only team that gets red carded for it. And
the Rice kicked the ball away though, didn't he? This season.
When?
This season.
What, against Brighton?
He kicked the ball away, didn't he?
A toe tap, mate. Come on, do me a favour.
It's out of play.
No, what?
He taps it out of play.
Do whatever you need to do, mate. But like,
it don't matter, mate. It don't matter. He scored 2 goals against Real Madrid. He's gone down in history. And also, best. Did he not say the best moment in his career? So it just shows you how irrelevant the Europa Cup was.
Performance. I'm not biting on that. Individual report.
No, he said that the biggest thing in his career so far. So Mickey Mouse Cups don't count. Mickey Mouse
He's come out and clarified it. He's come out and said that's not what he meant.
That's exactly what he meant.
Whatever, mate. He just banged 2 goals in the bin against Real Madrid.
No doubt. The best individual performance that he's ever had. No doubt.
Nah,
team achievement. No,
that's because some PR person's gone. Cool, you're getting a lot of heat on West Ham fans. Oh, you get that there, Bram. Oh, they're getting all cotty there.
The PR guy was right, wasn't
he? Oh, mate. Listen, he's got pictures of that already up in his ass. His medal's in the drawer.
His medal's a coaster. Well, at least he's got a medal, hasn't he?
Yeah. What about it? We won the Cup Winners' Cup.
We won the Cup Winners' Cup. Mate, you'll lose on
Adam,
the stats.
Stop biting. Cheese and bread. All right, you won a cup. Well done.
Trophies.
All right.
West Ham have more trophies.
I've already had a picture with you. Put your back in the water. I reeled you back in again for another one.
Mate, Yeah, but
Oh,
you're reading me out,
God.
but then you're realising that you've just caught a golden fish because
Oh,
the facts are
God,
right.
here we go.
Call it
Here we
ginger.
go.
You've got as many
Don't worry,
Champions
you're
League
going to
finals
buy
as
Aaron
Spurs.
Ramsdale
Here we
to
go,
get
here
back
we
in the
go.
relegation battle. Oh.
He's got. You've got as many Champions League finals as us.
Lev,
Don't get
same
upset,
runners
mate.
up middle.
Don't get
Second
upset.
again.
Can I just
hello,
say,
hello. You know
your
what?
West
We
Ham...
would go 5-1.
Hey, listen, Adam, your West Ham players would rather have Arsenal's runners-up medal in the Champions League than your winners one.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, mate, 100%. 100, mate. If I was
like
playing
saying-
football and I have a Mickey Mouse Cup, right,
Yeah.
or Champions League runners-up medal, what one am I going to pick?
I'll tell you what. Ask Harry Kane that question because he's got a runners-up medal and he's not won anything yet, has he?
Well, do you know, no, I think he'd definitely say Champions League. Would you rather win Division? Would you rather win Division 2 or come second in the Champions League?
Hey, he wants gold. He don't want silverware.
He's
When you talk
not
about
going to
gold,
be
when
like,
you
"Do you know what?
when you
I'll
talk
take
about gold,
Division 3. I'll
yeah,
take Division 3.
if you talk about gold, 3 West Ham players won the World Cup. So
Oh, here he is.
No.
Callum.
His head's gone. He's absolutely bitten. He's only put up 96.
in fairness,
He's got a big one.
Arsenal do have a golden Premier League trophy.
Callum, you're wearing this.
I'm trying to give you credit here.
Where's this rant? Where's the dad rant come up?
It's not even a dad rant because West Ham have more European trophies than Arsenal.
Oh,
So
here he is.
it's true. It's the truth. Facts don't
Bobby
lie.
Moore's walking across the bottom of the screen.
Oh, God. Adam, that's priceless.
Are you finished yet? Oh, congratulations on winning your quarter-final Champions League leg, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank
You've won you're the
Champions
quickest
of the
team to win Champions League
of the
ever.
Emirates. The champions of the Emirates.
Has West Ham ever played Real Madrid?
No, I don't think we have actually, to be fair. our only connection is Julian Faubert on loan. And he fell asleep on the bench.
Adam, that was generational, mate.
It's not generational. I'm not remixing that, though, by the way.
So I'm going to screenshot it, mate. I'm going to screenshot and upload it myself.
Can I just say, if we lose on Wednesday, I'm not coming on Thursday. I want everyone to hear. If we lose,
I think we should go to
Okay,
Free
I know.
Pigeons pub. I think we should go to Free Pigeons pub and then I can film it in real time.
Oh, mate, I'm definitely not coming in.
Actually,
Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine if you lose 4-0 next week?
I'm not coming on. I'm telling you now, I'm off. I ain't coming on. It's fine.
Oh God!
I'm not
To be
coming on.
fair-
No chance.
oh no, I think I'm coming to the free pitch next week.
No, I'm going to the Free Pigeons, but I ain't coming. If we lose, I ain't coming. If we lose
Mate, I'll
more
just
than
film it. I'll just film it. I'll knock on your door, live stream it. Boom, 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 boom. Get the bollocks, open the door.
I'll be speaking to you from my window like Juliet.
But all jokes aside, this is what worries me though. Like, yes, it's a fantastic result, and don't get me wrong, it will, and for Declan Rice and for the team, to be fair, they have got Galacticos in that team. You talk about, Mbappe just on himself, Jude Bellingham being, the Galacticos, if you like.
Uh-huh.
But I am worried. Like, I was joking with Richard, who's down the Free Pigeon, local down the Free Pigeons, and massive Arsenal fan. I said I wouldn't be happy if we won 5-0 tonight. But I would still be worried if we won 5-0.
Yeah,
And don't get me wrong, I was singing and dancing, winning 3-0. But I am, as you just, I know Adam said multiple times, they could go and win 5-0. They could go and win 4-0 next week. So, yeah, I am still scared. But then again, even if we get through Real Madrid, we still got to pay PSG.
Or
and then, or Aston Villa. But again, we're going to get Barcelona probably, or whoever it is, going to get Barcelona in the final. I mean, don't get me wrong, if Arsenal did it, to beat Real Madrid, PSG, and Barcelona in the final would be probably the greatest journey to win the cup. If we did it,
for an English team,
yeah,
probably,
yeah. I mean, that would be exceptional. I don't know if another team's ever beat, arguably the best three clubs in the world, or best. I know PSG are on a bit of a downer. I know we've already beat them as well in this year's Champions League, group stages, or whatever you want to call it. That play everyone stage, or whatever you want to call it. I know we beat them 2-0. I think it was away as well. But yeah, it's still worrying it. Just because you got past one big gun, or potentially past one big gun, you still got PSG and, as you say, or potentially GSP and potentially Barcelona in the final. That's a tough all running, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's just hope we can get through Wednesday. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
and see what happens.
If you do win it, you deserve it, because, like I say, the teams that you come across, they're no mugs, are they? I mean,
No.
PSG look like they're the best PSG they've ever had, and that's without Mbappe and Messi in their squad.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, they look better without all them players, don't they?
It would also be nice to be the first team to win the new format.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, shall we come away from Arsenal, Real Madrid, and talk about the Premier League this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, West Ham played Bournemouth at the weekend. We did.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about last weekend. Sorry, I was thinking of this weekend. Sorry.
Yeah, so what I wanted to touch on mainly in that game was the fact that West Ham finally activated their cheat code, something that we should have expected in the summer, and that was a James Ward-Prowse set piece with a full Krug header. So the combination of James Ward-Prowse having a 89% successful set piece chance creation in his career, and full Krug being 87% successful in every aerial duel that he's ever had. To combine those two, it's goals, and we finally saw that happen on Saturday. So it just baffles me to the fact that why this combination couldn't have happened earlier in the season. My wife has just bantered me here. She says, "How long are you going to be?" And I went, "I'm here another 30 minutes." Why? She goes, "Oh, I want to go to bed." I went, "I'm doing it for the likes." She goes, "What, for your 5 listeners?" She's giving us far too much credit.
Yeah.
So going back onto the...
come back and listen, though.
Hold on, is she not watching no more then?
She doesn't even know how to do a podcast.
Yeah.
No, but the cheat code, I'm happy it's coming now, and we've got a fit full Krug, we've got James Ward-Prowse back. It just feels like it's 6 months wasted of our season by not having that availability to us. So I'm happy that we're starting to see a bit of style of play. A lot of West Ham fans are not happy with the fact that we're gone back to Moyes ball, but when you take over a club that are conceding 3 or 4 goals a game every week, you do revert to a low block. You do go back to basics, and you worry about not leaking goals, and you build from that. And I think the sooner those stroppy West Ham fans realise that, the better it will be for the next season. So, 2-2 against a very good Bournemouth side. Someone I predicted would be up the top end of the table when we done our first podcast episode. And I'm very happy with that result, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah, it's a good result. And I think it was probably the right time to play Bournemouth as well. They were without Kluivert, is that right?
Yeah.
So it was a Bournemouth team that have kind of maybe just started to show signs that they are running out of steam a little bit. And so for West Ham, who perhaps are picking up speed a little bit again, I know that you said last week that they were already on the beach. I don't know. I feel like Potter is still working out what his best 11 is. And so I think it could be a stronger end to the season than perhaps West Ham thought. or maybe other West Ham fans were thinking. I think there might be more in it than maybe just visiting out and being on the beach. And I hope so too. Like, I hope so too, because they've still got some important games. You've got Liverpool this weekend. If Arsenal, but the thing is, listen. I would have expected Arsenal to beat Everton, or I would have hoped they would have done, and without that penalty, they should have done. Arsenal did everything they needed to do in the game to win the game, except the penalty. I wouldn't have called who was it that beat Liverpool at the weekend?
Fulham.
And you know who would have called Fulham turning them over?
So I don't know what happened there.
But who would have called Fulham turning them over? So, you know, you don't know. West Ham could do the same. And all of a sudden, if Arsenal can beat Brentford, which will not be a priority for Arsenal this weekend, obviously. Like, I'm not, you know, Arteta will still want to finish well, but you've got to think they'll be looking ahead to Wednesday. You've got to. It's you know, it's probably our most. It's not really a clear-cut opportunity, but it's a most direct opportunity to a win of something this season. But if West Ham do beat Liverpool and then Arsenal beat Brentford, all of a sudden, it's just a little bit closer again, isn't it? And it just makes I don't think it will change anything, but it just makes things a little bit more interesting because Arsenal still have to play Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it seems like Arsenal are just maybe starting to pick up, and maybe Liverpool are just starting to run out of steam. But
maybe they're just affording to see how Arsenal get on to then be able to put in a shift. I mean, you guys are playing. When are you playing? Is it Saturday lunch?
It's
lunchtime again?
I think it's 5:30.
Oh, 5:30. So we play Liverpool on the Sunday, so they could react to your result. I mean, if you don't pick up a result, they'll just rest their team and look and put in a few youngsters to build for next season. So, but it doesn't really benefit us because regardless who they put out, we've shipped 15 goals in our past 3 games against them at Anfield. So I'm not hopeful. I can not worry about this weekend. I can wipe this one clean. And if we do get a result, I'll put Match of the Day on. But if not, it's not going to ruin my weekend. If I'm honest, But you know, Potter seems to be the one that kind of springs a surprise. You know, like he brought a surprise against your mob earlier this year. Who knows what can happen? But I know, especially away at Liverpool, it's never good for West Ham. Never good. So feel for the West Ham fans on that weekend going up there. So yeah,
they'll have a good weekend.
Yeah, they'll have a good win either way. But yeah, it's still Liverpool though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So who you got in the 5:30 kickoff?
Brentford.
Oh, Brentford. That's right. So do you think you'll rest a few players that game then?
I think we might.
Yeah, I think you'll have people like White come in and people that need minutes. I think you'll see. I reckon. I don't think he'll risk Saka. I don't think he'll risk Odegaard. I reckon Jorginho will come in, or at least let him play maybe between 20 and 60 minutes and take him off. I don't think Arsenal come out as third gear. You know, the thing is, what I'm expecting is that we go hard first 20 minutes, try and get 2 or 3 goals, and then you'll just see people start coming off, and it will just be keep ball. I think that's what Arteta's going to hope, and that's what he's going to try and go for, and then, like I say, set up for the Wednesday night. I think the league's done. I know Rob's trying to say that potentially, and you know, don't get me wrong, I'd love Liverpool to be under pressure, and you know, I played in changing rooms where you know you get to this point of the season and the league's done, and you're not when you're not playing for playoffs or you're sort of just mid-table, sort of sitting there, and Gaffer's going let's upset the apple cart. Let's not let them have an easy ride. And rallying all the boys, and hopefully that's what Potter will do with West Ham, and all the clubs that have got Liverpool, because ultimately you don't want them to win the league at your ground. Do you know what I mean? That's I remember, even playing at Boreham Wood, teams were going on to win the league, and they'd be like, well, don't let them win it here. Don't let them do their bit of history at our club. The same as like Arsenal sing all their songs. We won it at Anfield. All the big clubs, and we sing it. You don't want to be that team that they do it at. Do you know what I mean? And I'm hoping, again, that's what managers going to say. But I can't see Liverpool throwing it away. But I do think Arsenal will rest, and I think it is all about Champions League now. Until it's not about Champions League, if we're not in the final, or if we get knocked out, obviously.
I also think, though, Cal, that the team that Arteta could put out is still good enough to beat Brentford.
Oh.
And that's not a disrespect to Brentford. I just think Arsenal have got good players that can come in. So I think the main things you need to talk about with Brentford is that Wissa and Mbeumo are both very good players. And so Wissa's been in great form this season, and Mbeumo just keeps doing what Mbeumo does, and he's a very good player. But if you look at who could come in, let's just say he doesn't play Timber. So Ben White comes in. You've got to think the back three will stay the same. It looks like Calafiori's been training with the team this week, so maybe he comes in at some point. You've got to think that maybe Jorginho doesn't play. You've got to think that maybe Sterling and Trossard will start, which means that potentially Merino drops back into 8. Maybe even Declan Rice doesn't start. Maybe Odegaard doesn't start and Ranieri plays. Listen, I think
there'll be big changes, yeah.
That's a massive change. But Ranieri playing where he wants to play are things that we should be queuing up to see. Ranieri playing in Odegaard's position is what we should want to see anyway, because that's his natural position. He's not a winger. So even with the changes, Arsenal are good enough to beat this Brentford team. And let me just double check. Are Arsenal at home? They are, aren't they? Arsenal at home? Yeah, Arsenal at home as well. So you've got to think that Arsenal can go in and win the game. I just think that I think Arsenal will concede. I think it'll be good for Kiwior to get another game under his belt. That'll be basically game, 3 under his belt. He did okay against Madrid, apart from the first 20 minutes. So you've got to be positive, but I do think Arsenal will concede. And I reckon it could be via Mbeumo and Wissa. So I think there's enough there for Arsenal to win. It'd be nice for Sterling to get a goal. That would be quite nice to see. He's always been honest when he's been on the pitch for us. It just hasn't worked out, sadly.
I wonder if he's got something to play in the Champions League.
Well, he can actually be on the bench this time at least, because he was banned for the first game. So
yeah, I still think 1-0.
Brentford,
Arsenal.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be Merino
again,
because I love him.
I'm going to say 2-1. I think we'll concede. I think there'll be too many changes. I think we'll cope with it, but I think there'll be too many changes. So I'll say 2-1.
I'll go 1-0.
Yes, fair enough. Yeah,
just
a draw.
Yeah, let's say it's very low risk fixture for Arsenal, isn't it? And the focus is in the week, isn't it? Yeah. I think you've got to put all your eggs in one basket, and that's in the competition that you think you can try and win. You win the next five games in that competition, you've won it, or 4 games, isn't it? Yeah, win the next 4 games, you've won that competition. So yeah, I think it's the right move. Yeah, that's that. In terms of West Ham's prediction, easy 4-1 Liverpool, maybe. Might get a goal.
You think that heavy?
Yeah, I do.
Do you reckon Salah could score
Salah then?
So, Salah always turns up. I tell you who does turn up. Cody Gakpo against us. He always does well against us.
That's like Bobby Firmino against us. Oh God, Bobby
Yeah,
Firmino.
Firmino always scored. Yeah.
Oh,
There goes Jota. He always turns up. So if you're going to put a bet on, they're sort of key players that you look out for. Trent usually scores a free kick against us quite regularly. But yeah, that's that. Right, okay. So let's go on to the debate then for the final bit of the podcast. Declan Rice, future Arsenal captain. What's your thoughts?
I requested this one because I just think that he is made to be the next Arsenal captain. I know that Odegaard loves it in London. But I still do believe that he's got more moves in his career, and I feel like Declan Rice will remain at Arsenal for quite a long time. That's not a slide at Odegaard, by the way. I'm not suggesting we should ship him off or anything like that. But he is very much a leader in the way that he performs. I'm not sure he's a leader in the way that he rallies the troops in the way that Rice does. And I also had a look at Rice's goals and assists this season, and some of them have come in really important games or when the games have been close. So when you look at his goals against Madrid, he scored 2 goals against Madrid. It was 0-0, and he scored 2 free kicks. He scored 1 against United when we were losing 1-0, and we drew that game 1-1. He had two assists against City when we beat them 5-1. He had an assist against Palace when we beat them 5-1. He had 1 assist against United when we beat them 2-0. And then he had 1 assist against Liverpool when we drew with them 2-2. And I just think that the games that, and then that's not including his performance in the Champions League, which has also been very good. But I think when you look at some of his goals and assists this season, they've come in games where we were 0-0 and he's made the important pass, or he's scored the important goal, or he's clawed back points in the way that, like he did against Man United. He scored the goal that drew the game. And to be fair, if I remember correctly, he did that last season against United as well. Pretty sure he scored a late goal that won Arsenal the game. So I just think he's the type of person that stands up when it matters, and can sort of pull a team through a result.
I mean, I asked this question on a YouTube channel earlier today, and one of the guys said he'd rather have Gabriel as captain over Declan Rice. Are you in agreement with that?
No, but I see the thinking.
What's the thinking? Because I think it's a bit of a strange.
Well,
not so much that strange, but I think if you've had to pick the next Arsenal captain,
well, I think
Gabriel didn't even come into my mind.
Well, like I said to you before, I still think that Gabriel could go to the Saudi League. I do. It probably won't happen now because he's injured, but it could happen in January. It could happen in January or next season, right? Probably not in January, next season now because he's injured. But I could see that move happening. And so I wouldn't even consider him for the captaincy because of that. But he's visible, isn't he? He's loud. He's always talking. He's passionate. He's all in, die hard. Whereas Saliba is kind of like we always talk about Saliba being a Rolls Royce, right? Gabriel's just a truck, isn't he? Like, he just runs right through you. And if you're having a real tough game, or if the chips are down, and you've got someone like Gabriel making some of the last ditch challenges he makes, and or the goals that he scores when he's attacking corners and things like that, I can see why, because I could imagine playing next to him and being inspired. Like, I didn't play to the level that Callum did, but I played football and I enjoyed playing football, and we went through the leagues and we played cup finals and stuff like that. And there were some players that I played with, right? And there was some where I was like, you're a liability, right? And they would admit to it too. But there were some people I played with who were absolutely all in and would die for the team. And I'd be like, this guy's pulling us through today, and it makes you raise your performances. So I kind of feel like Gabriel is one of those. He's a bit of a performance raiser because he is so visible, he is so aggressive, he is so passionate, and that's the type of thing that I think would inspire your teammates. So I can see it. I just think Declan Rice would be the better option.
Cal?
I mean, I think it would be a travesty if Declan Rice does not captain up Arsenal at some point in his career. And I think him not doing that would not just damage his development, but also I think would affect the team, because I think he is a leader. I think Arsenal talk about this like leadership hierarchy at the club. Where they passed, Saka's up there as one of the people they passed the armband to and stuff like that. And I think Declan, as Rob just said, he is more vocal than Odegaard, where I think Odegaard, as Rob said, leads from how he plays. Where Declan, like one of the greatest examples was when Skelly did his celebration, and he was like, right, let's get back. He was the one who was already back in position, saying, right, come on, let's switch back on. And and you need that sort of player to go, right, yeah, that's enough of that, but we've still got a job to do. And it's getting that fine balance, and I think he does that really well, as well as doing all the stuff that you expect from a leader. He's, let's be honest, consistent. A leader, you want to be consistently doing his job. Gary Neville, I know, he wasn't a world-class player. He's won everything, to be fair, and he obeyed the best team in the country his whole career. But he did what his job was. But because he did his job so well, it gave Beckham, it gave Giggsy, it gave whoever played in front of him to be able to go and do what they wanted to do, because he was so good at what he does. And I think Declan Rice does that. He's so good at what he does. He gives people like Odegaard, like Saka, like whoever else is around him to go and do what their job is, because they know they've got that security behind where he's going to be able to win that ball and then pass it to Partey or whatever he's going to do. Do you know what I mean? And I think when he's not playing, we suffer. But I also do believe that with Odegaard as well, and I think that's been proven as well. And I think that's obviously why he's been given the cap to be, as well as trying to keep him at the club for longer as well. Because, I like to think he will stay. But I think the draw off going to Spain and proving Real Madrid wrong is going to be up there. If Barcelona come in for him, or even if Real Madrid come in for him and he goes back and proves that actually he is, well, we all know he's world class, but you know what I mean. But it's funny that you put on the Gabriel debate, because I've said I absolutely love the bloke, and if I was to get a shirt today,
Shirt-worthy.
I would get his name on my shirt. I would, and I do. I think he is passionate and he is loud and he is that lion, and I think he is a leader, but you also need your leader to be composed, and I don't know if he's quite got that. Where I think Rice is composed, like the example that I just gave you. A big game. Skelly go and do that celebration, which everyone could have jumped on, which most people did jump onto, but there was him going, right, actually, wait, let's refocus, let's get our heads together, let's refocus. We've still got a job to do, and I think Gabriel has that passion, and I think if he can manage himself, that's when he's at his best. Sometimes when I worry with Gabriel, if you gave him the captaincy, would he lose part of his own game because he hasn't got the composure to be able to then manage other people? And then his focus would go on to, I've got to act a certain way, and he would lose that passion, that aggressiveness, because he's then thinking, I've got to do the other side of the job.
That's what Henry was criticised with, wasn't it? When he got given the armband, he almost like a part of his game had dropped off, didn't it?
Lost, yeah, I agree, and it does. It is a big becoming a captain, and I remember, and I know it's completely different, right?
Before you say it, Cal, that's part of the reason why I don't like seeing Saka with the captain armband. I just don't think he needs to.
I agree.
But go on, carry on and say what you were saying, Cal. Sorry, mate.
Well, I was going to say, when I played, I remember I hadn't captained before, and anyone who's played with me, I was always shouting, always screaming from the back, always the noisiest person on the pitch, yeah, always yapping and shouting and screaming. And I remember in the FA Cup Youth Cup final, the FA Youth Cup, we played Fisher, and I never got told. And literally, we got in the changing room, and the gaffer at the time was, Callum, you're going to be captain tonight. I'd never been captain in ever in my career up to that point. And I remember just literally going, oh my God, now I've got to manage the rest of even though I did that anyway, it was part of my game because I just managed the back four, managed the team. And I just remember it being thrown on me, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I know it sounds ridiculous, but like the beginning of the game and things like I was obviously only 16 or whatever it's 16, 17. And I just remember going, oh Jesus, now I've got to change my game, which I didn't, but at the time it threw me. And I just think for someone like Gabriel, it would take away, same as like I think for Saka, it takes away. Sometimes you just got to let them players do what they got to do and let them manage themselves and play the way they do. And I think someone like Declan Rice, who is composed, who can do both sides, is just I think he is a Tony Adams, but in midfield. That's the impression I get of him. He is a Tony Adams that is in midfield,
like a David O'Leary.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, David O'Leary. Yeah, good shout. I just think he can manage that and his emotions very well. And I don't think Gabriel could. And I love Gabriel. And I think he could be. But I do think you'd lose part of his game. And as Rob just said.
I should say on the flip side, you could also say who would have seen Vieira becoming the captain that he became by becoming captain, or the player that he became by becoming captain. Because we all love Vieira, but his first couple of seasons in London were a bit sketchy. Like, it wasn't easy, as with his discipline issues and whatever. Tony Adams left the club, or retired from football, and all of a sudden Vieira was getting the armband, and we were like, "What the hell has this been? Like, this is." So who knows? I suppose is the thing I'm saying, but I do tend to agree with Callum. I just think you might lose too much from Gabriel's game, and I think that would be a shame. Whereas I think Rice was made to be a captain. His composure, the way he talks on the pitch, the way he talks off the pitch, the interviews, the way that he carries himself and presents the club, and the way that he presented himself at West Ham as a captain as well. Like, we've seen what Declan Rice looks like as a captain, and we know that Declan Rice as a captain equals success.
Do you know what else he's got, Rob? Do you know what else he's got? He's also got that bit of banter that you need to have as a captain.
Yeah.
It's only what we're allowed to see. But
dancehall Declan Rice singing all of his Caribbean songs on the on holiday and stuff.
Yeah,
I love it.
You need that. You need that. And I remember having captains that they would encourage the banter. They would be the leaders of the banter as well as, right now it's time to work. Do you know what I mean? My best captains were the ones who would be the first one ripping you to pieces or having banter or doing whatever the mess about was, and they would lead it. But then when it comes to a training session, they would be the first one that put that tackle in, or they would be the first one to scream and shout. You'd go, right, oi, we're here to work now. That's it. We've had our banter. It's here to, you know what I mean? And I think he's got that, with the Rice Baby on what is it called?
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own and stuff like But players love all that because you've got to be able to have a laugh and a joke. But then we could see he knows when to flip it, when to go, right, it's time to work now. And I think he's got the right balance for all that, because the captain's being so much more than what you do on the pitch and what you say and all that. It is the banter, it is the chats, and all the players seem to love him. If you look at all the little thingies, it's always Rice in and around it, and it's not like cliques. I think before with Aubameyang and past players, there was cliques in the club, but I don't see that from unless it's very, very, very clever camera work, or they only film what they want to film. And don't get me wrong, there is probably that as well. but I don't see the clicks so much. Declan Rice seems to be with everyone. Odegaard seems to be with everyone. Saka. I mean, I think Saka's loved by everyone anyway. But I just think he just brings more than just the hard work and the let's get down to work. I think it's the banter and all that bring. That's what a true captain does, is everything around the club.
Yeah. I mean, I echo that. I think, I say, from my experience being the West Ham fan and seeing Mark Noble, for instance, probably one of West Ham's best captains when he took over the armband from Kevin Nolan. Again, another good captain. And Dec has been in that transition period where he saw Kevin Nolan as the club captain when he was coming up through the youth ranks. He saw Mark Noble take that on as Mr. West Ham. And Mark Noble was known, although you could argue that he wasn't one of the best midfielders that graced the Premier League. I think he was a good player, very good player. I think doesn't get the plaudits that he should have. I mean, Harry never got an England cap, is criminal. But he was a fantastic leader for West Ham, and in bringing out the best of Dec's personality and supporting him, but then also passing the torch over to him to be captain for the next 2-3 seasons at the club. So, yeah, I think seeing it firsthand as to how influential he is on and off the pitch, and leaving on a high with a European trophy, his job done. And let's not forget, he's one of only 3 West Ham captains to ever lift silverware at the club: Bobby Moore, Billy Bonds, Declan Rice. And that's great company, especially in West Ham's folklore. So what Declan Rice can do when he gets given the armband in Arsenal form, he's got some big shoes to fill, admittedly, but I'd have no doubt that he'll do well in it. You look at captains like Cesc Fabregas, who fought and bled for Arsenal when he played for them. When he left and went to Chelsea, again, it's a bit debatable, but
Barcelona.
Via Barcelona,
He
yeah.
did try to come back to Chelsea. He did try to come back to Arsenal, to be fair, but Wenger had a policy about not re-signing players.
But he's Fabregas to Arsenal could be Declan Rice to Arsenal in that sense.
I actually think that Declan Rice has the potential to be what Vieira and Adams were. Actually,
yeah.
To be fair, I mean,
I think if you give him the platform, let him grow. I think he won't let anyone down.
No, I think he's
even in times of hardship, if you've been knocked out of a semi-final of a cup competition, or he'd be the type of guy and go, right, come on, we're already working towards next season, and let's rectify that. Because again, we've seen that happen with West Ham. We got knocked out the semi-final of Europa League to Frankfurt. He got suspended for 2 of the first games in the following season because of his immature comments to the referee about taking bribes. But he was influential. He was going, no, if to make up for last season's heartache, we need to win something, and that's what he did. He led that team to do that. And that's what a leader is. Leads by example. He's made a mistake and he wears it, and he's like trying to make sure that others don't.
My only worry is that I think a lot of Arsenal fans would say Declan Rice would be the next captain. My worry is that they would give it to Saka, thinking that it will prolong his time. Yeah, huh?
Poster boy.
Well, that one potentially because of poster boy, but also to try and keep him at the club longer. Because I mean, I'd love to say Saka would stay at the club forever, and finish his career at Arsenal. But again, that white shirt or that Barcelona shirt could come calling.
He could stay though. If Declan was his captain, he could probably go, you know what, I want to play for him.
No,
if you're winning trophies at Arsenal, why would he ever leave?
No, I'd love. Yeah, I mean, ideally, that's what everyone would love at Arsenal, but I think they would give him a bit like what they did with Henry. They gave him the armband to keep him there.
Yeah,
and then
it's what West Ham have done. with Bowen.
Yeah, of course,
It's
exactly
the same thing.
But my worry is
Bowen,
he going to be the best captain for Arsenal?
Yeah.
Is Saka going to be the best captain for Arsenal? No, because we think already. I'm thinking it's Rice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, it's a good debate. I like I like talking about Declan Rice. I know there's the stigma and the bitterness between West Ham fans and Arsenal fans, but as I said in one of my short videos, it's not the case of West Ham fans hating on Rice. It's the fact that West Ham fans hating on West Ham because we allowed it to happen. But if you're not supporting a player of his magnitude and ambition and philosophy, then how can you keep a player like that? So
Arsenal are going to be in the same boat, because if we can't win nothing, he's going to want to go elsewhere, mate. If we don't win nothing in the next couple, in the next season, let's be honest, if we don't win nothing next season, regardless what happens with the Champions League, we're going to be struggling keeping him.
We could be
Because
struggling
he's going to want to go.
people. We could be struggling to keep a few.
Yeah,
and
that might
include the manager as well. That might include the manager as well. So
yeah. Arteta's going to want to go.
I think that's why
Saliba's going to want to go. Odegaard's going to want to go.
I think that's why they've brought in that sporting director, because that sporting director wins stuff. The year they signed him, he bought, I think it was Villa from Barcelona. I think it was David Villa. And Atletico Madrid bought David Villa. They won the league. And then a couple of years later, he bought Suarez from Barcelona and they won the league. So this guy knows how to buy a player and win it. I mean, he's made a few mistakes as well, but he's bought some players he probably shouldn't have bought, but he has got a good track record of buying some good strikers and then the team winning the league the next year. So fingers crossed that's something that happens in our future.
Yeah, that's hope so. Right, well, let's finish it off tonight. It's my missus is still not asleep.
Okay,
she is. But we'll finish the podcast as we started, and that is, let's just have a little look at these little action figures again.
That's just you on a normal day, isn't it?
It's just me.
You're wearing that top now, mate.
Yeah. I am. Just no glasses this time. And here's Callum again, Rhinestone Cowboy.
Callum,
I've got them.
You look like a southern preacher.
And the pick of the bunch is Rah Fishbone Rob.
Rah Rasputin. Yeah.
These little chunky legs. Look at their little legs.
Mate, I wish I had calves like that. I've got chicken drumstick legs, mate.
Brilliant. Anyway, chaps, always a pleasure, never a chore, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys later.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah. If you lose against Madrid, you won't be seeing my face.
No mine.
I'll be back next week regardless.
See you guys later.
Ta-ra. Bye.
Bye.